Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we are going to be jumping down into the world of XRP. We've got some interesting things just to kind of discuss around the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, and obviously take a look at the technical analysis on XRP as well. Just get a bit of an idea as to what we might see happen here in the kind of next few days, in weeks, and what opportunities might present themselves as more fear seeps into the space. So as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check that out? Okay, guys, let's open up the desktop here and take a look at what's been going on recently with Ripple and SEC, and of course taking a look at the technical analysis. So we'll start things off just by taking a look at a little bit of TA here. As you can see here, we are kind of mapping a move up, and this hasn't really changed. We've been really stagnant since Bitcoin's been indecisive on what it wants to do. I still feel that we are likely to see this 54 cent before we start to pull back down, but you know, the chances are getting slimmer and slimmer, right? And I think the minimum target would be 46.59. Just here to create a double top scenario, and then we would pull back down from there. That's also possible. And it's also worth noting that there's a lot of similarities between altcoins and Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and you know, Bitcoin to the stock market, for example, right? So not everything is mapping exactly as you would expect it to, but there are some inverse head and shoulder patterns on Ethereum that we should be aware of that also have an impact on many altcoins. I'm not saying that we also have a bearish scenario here for XRP, but I do think there's going to be some opportunities as more fear seeps into this space, where panic selling will occur for XRP, and that will bring XRP price down to some pretty good accumulation zones. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're fully stacked for when this lawsuit kind of comes to conclusion, right? Because we want to make sure that we've got maximum exposure to XRP for what comes after. So knowing that there's basically there's a lot of emotions in the space, and that's essentially what I'm tracking here with Elliott Wave theory. We're able to track people's behavior in the space, and as such, we can know that there's going to be, you know, potentially some opportunities for building a better XRP positions ahead of what the future might bring. Okay, so that's going to be fantastic for many XRP holders out there to kind of, you know, double down or triple down or whatever, because I think the prices are going to get really, really juicy. Okay, so obviously, kind of knowing that, we're going to jump on over into some news and some interesting kind of things, right? So this was actually posted out a couple of days ago, and this is basically Ripple's motions to compel, right? And basically trying to force the SEC to admit that there was no investment contracts for XRP sales, and essentially basically saying that XRP was not a security under the Howey test, right? And again, most places in the world, I say this all the time, you know, here in the UK, we understand it's just an exchange token, not a security and all of that stuff. And ultimately, this whole entire lawsuit is only hurting America and Americans, right? And so the rest of the world, we're kind of happy to kind of go on as usual here. And, you know, the actual price action of XRP has been hindered by this lawsuit, specifically because all of the exchanges over in the US delisted XRP. There are a couple of exceptions, but essentially what they did is created billions of dollars worth of damage, and the majority of that, I mean, that damage was worldwide, obviously. But recovery has been pretty sharp since the 2020 lows, right? And you know, 2021 was a fantastic year to see some pretty good gains on the opportunity of buying XRP at 17 cent, right? Which obviously Chris and myself did do during the time of the lawsuit being, you know, announced. There was mass panic, mass selling, and well, Chris and I were just buying up that fear. And I think we're going to have something similar soon with the price action. But what my point here is that essentially the damage that is being done is really just about hurting the future of the states, right? That's how I kind of look at it. The rest of the world, whether you're Japan, China, whether you are, you know, here in the UK or Europe, you know, we notice this is not an exchange token. It is essentially an exchange token, a place to be able to move value from one place to another. Specifically in the UK, that's how we view it. So it's important that we understand this, right? So under the Howey test, it's very, very difficult to prove that XRP is a security. I know there's lots of narratives that you can take on it, and you can kind of try to make it bend it into that kind of structure, but I don't think that's really fitting. I think you're trying to manipulate things at that stage to make it work for the Howey test. And I think ultimately, if anything comes out of this, it should be that a new structural test needs to be put in place. Maybe it'll be called a Ripple test. Who knows? Something to kind of actually draw out whether something is a security without, looking at. I mean, times have changed, right? You can't use a Howey test going forward when the entire climate and the entire economy is vastly different to what it was previously. But let's get back into this, right? Let's circle back in. So this is all about basically compelling the SEC to make some admissions, okay? And this is interesting. There's a lot of different things that are going through. We're going to talk about one specifically in a moment, which I just think is ludicrous, that the SEC are refusing to acknowledge. But we'll go through that in a moment. But essentially, there's several things here in these RFAs, right? This is basically a request for admission, and there's a lot of there's a fourth set of request of admission. So this is the fourth set of these to be pushed through, and basically Ripple are requesting the SEC, or actually, requesting that the court, impose these, I guess is probably the way to kind of look at it. So I'm gonna shoot through this. I'm not gonna read this entire thing, but basically the SEC is required to file hundreds of answers to Ripple's RFAs, these requests for admissions, on many fronts. Everything from the XRP sales offshore to questions relating to the fair notice defense and whether XRP ledger was even fully functional at the point of the sales taking place in 2013. Right? These are all very key things, and basically the SEC are going to have to answer them. Last year, the Orlando-based Hogan, so everyone who must know Jeremy Hogan's channel by now, following lots of different things here, provided some key insights into the RFA topics, after the judge found that they are relevant to the case, right? So really, really important stuff. I don't think he's actually done a video for a little while. Maybe they're away, I don't know. Hopefully he'll get another update out soon, because I think some interesting things have been going on as well with the SEC case. So if you're not already subscribed, I'll link his channel down below. If you want to be kept up to date with this lawsuit, that's the place to do it. Okay, so knowing that, I'm not going to read any more of this, but you kind of get the idea, right? The SEC are being compelled into answering or admitting certain things, right? So let's go ahead and focus in on just one of these things, which is that Bill Hinman clearing ETH as a security ? So one of these motions, these RFAs, is to basically identify Bill Hinman as the person who is giving this speech, which should be, let me just check in my head there. Yeah, it should be pretty easy to do, right? It either is this person or it isn't this person, but that might not be the case, right? The SEC are refusing to admit this. So let's go down and take a look, right? So the famous Hinman speech regarding the regulations of cryptocurrency has once again come to play in the ongoing Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. Recall that Hinman, while at the SEC, basically this is the US Securities and Exchange Commission, served as director of corporation finance, and he left the agency in December 2020. Now, just a few weeks before the declaration of the case against Ripple. Now, thereafter, and I don't think that's actually accurate. I'm not sure if that is true or not, if it was Hinman who left in 2020. But, if that isn't the case, let me know below. I'm not sure how factual that is. I thought it was earlier than that, but I could be wrong. I'm not over in the US. So if you know better, let me know. After a huge fracas involved over the speech at the FinTech Week conference back in 2018, the video depicts Hinman, while still serving as the SEC, at the SEC, saying that Ethereum sales did not comprise a securities transaction. Ripple has used this speech as evidence to help its case, implying the similarities between ETH and XRP tokens. Now, what's interesting about this? So basically in 2018, at this FinTech Week conference, Hinman basically had this famous speech that basically says, Bitcoin and ETH are not securities. They are sufficiently decentralized and all that kind of stuff. I think most people are familiar with that. Now, even reading this, it even says the video depicts Hinman. So straight away, there's a video, and even these guys, right, at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗦 are able to say that that's Hinman, right? Okay. And so basically, you know, Hinman's there and he's basically given this speech. ETH is not a security. And obviously Ripple want to use this and say, well, actually ETH and XRP, they're very similar tokens. So if XRP is a security, then ETH should be a security. And if ETH is not a security, then XRP should not be a security. And that's kind of one angle to take. Now, it's obviously not the main you know, the main thing that really is I guess the defense of Ripple. Really, that's their fair notice defense. But let's continue here. SEC versus Ripple case. A regulator cannot confirm if Hinman is in the video. So in another attempt to utilize the speech, Ripple on Wednesday submitted a motion to compel request for admission, an RFA. Essentially, the motion was meant to make the SEC admit or deny Bill Hinman's identity in the video. Should be pretty straightforward, right? You know, it's either an imposter or someone impersonating Hinman, or it's Bill Hinman. So, you know, which one is it? Anyway, let's get into this. However, the regulator asserted that it can neither confirm nor deny whether the man in question is Hinman. So basically they are really trying to basically get out of admitting this. So subject to all the foregoing objections and after reasonable inquiry, the information is known and currently available is not sufficient to enable the commission to admit or deny this request. So there's a lot of evidence that is actually indicating that it is Hinman, and basically they're refusing to admit that it is. So I think they know that if they admit this, they're kind of getting backed into a corner. So anyway, let's carry on here. Other than clearly and audibly depicting Hinman, the video also seems quite authentic and undeniable. This is so coming from 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, a YouTuber, Georgetown law professor, posted the video. His account dates back to 2016 and is accompanied by his name picture and links to other professional affiliated websites. So his account is authentic, and he has this video, right? And it quite clearly shows, and in an undeniable fashion, that it's Bill Hinman. But even then, the SEC refuses to challenge the video's authenticity, let alone give up any helpful information concerning it. And Hinman a make or break in the ongoing lawsuit. So the Ripple versus SEC case history points to multiple times when the SEC tried to stall matters. Hinman previously, the watchdog, claimed that Hinman's statement was nothing more than his personal opinion. If you think back to what I was talking about yesterday, basically, you know, how it either is his personal opinion or it's a professional opinion, and how the SEC were not willing to kind of say one over the other. And the SEC are really trying to dodge this one. And Ripple are really trying to push them to kind of tripping up one way or another, right? And it's really key to understand whether or not this is his professional opinion, because if it's his professional opinion, then the client and attorney privilege should potentially hold up. If it's his personal opinion, then it doesn't necessarily hold up as well, and therefore we want to be kind of, you know, thinking about what that might mean. So understanding whether or not the SEC believe it is his personal opinion on this or his professional opinion is going to also play quite a key role going further forward. So let me find where I was. So yeah, personal opinion and not a representation of the SEC's views. Now, if it is, of course, a professional opinion and not a personal opinion, then of course it becomes the SEC's views. So the regulator also sought to conceal certain Hinman-related documents. When the court turned down this request, the regulator went to claim attorney-client privilege regarding Hinman's speech. So again, you're kind of getting the idea here. Ripple in turn claims that the SEC is only stalling where there is no real dispute. Okay, so there's something in these documents that is absolutely critical to the SEC side, and if they get turned over to Ripple, I think that essentially is going to be another nail in the SEC's coffin. So other than the speech, Hinman is a central point in the case for an alleged conflict of interest, which is another part. Corruption whistleblower Empower Oversight claimed that it could prove Hinman had direct financial interest in the Ethereum related firm. So again, this puts the regulator on the spotlight. So you can imagine that there's so many things going on. Obviously, we are fully aware the SEC are corrupt as hell at this point anyway, and this whole entire lawsuit from the SEC's perspective has been a bit of a farce, right? It hasn't exactly been going swimmingly for them. They've definitely made a lot of mistakes, and you would think that given the amount of time they had to kind of prepare for this thing, that they would actually be able to nail this a little bit better than they have been. With that being said, the whole thing feels like it was rushed towards the end. As 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓 was stepping down, he dropped this lawsuit, and as a result of that, billions of dollars of retail investors have been hurt, and the very thing that the SEC are supposed to stand for, which makes the whole thing in it even more of a joke than it was to start with. So, you know, the idea that, you know, XRP is a security and falls under the Howey test is laughable. For the rest of the world, it's completely laughable. The only place that they're trying this is, of course, the SEC. Let alone, of course, you had basically XRP classified as a currency, and as a result of being classified as a currency, you know, the requests to the SEC to even you know, confirm that it was not a security at that time, and they were getting blocked. The SEC do not know. They did not know in 2020, okay, like autumn and late 2020, they did not know that XRP was a security, or they would not confirm if it was or was not to anyone who was asking. And they go ahead and drop this lawsuit on the day that the chairman steps down, okay, and they cause billions of dollars worth of damage to retail investors globally. The SEC then go ahead and make mistakes in their filings, and they have to go ahead and repair them. They have to go for delay. The whole thing's a joke, and the entire world is watching, and it's really kind of sad to kind of think that essentially the SEC are making a bit of a fool over the entire process over in the States. And it's sad. It's sad to kind of see them to witness. But I do think that this is going to end, and I always have done, in settlement. The SEC cannot lose, and anyone in crypto, it doesn't matter if you're pro XRP or not, the SEC cannot win. If they win, they'll use this as precedent going further forward to completely decimate the crypto landscape. So all that's really going to happen here is that the US will be isolated. The business will leave the States. You can already see, and you can see this across various other economic outlooks, that China's catching up, right? And essentially, the US are losing ground, right? So the SEC cannot win. They'll use this to kind of bleed out cryptocurrencies. The firms will just migrate out of the States. They'll just set up shop elsewhere. And long term, the States would be in a state of isolation, which would not be great. You know, they'll be left behind. So if anything, they need to drop it. They need to settle it. They need to do something to move on. And they need to embrace cryptocurrency. And the new way of working, right? Old money needs to catch up with new money, and it needs to be happening faster than it currently is. Regulations are going to come. They are going to be good for this space eventually, but there's going to be issues to start with. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be clean. CBDCs, love them, hate them, doesn't really matter. They're going to happen. Best to embrace that with regulations and find ways of working with the current financial system rather than working against the current financial system. There are maximalists who want to kind of depose against the current system, and then of course you've got XRP here, you know, coined the banker's coin specifically just because they want to enhance the current infrastructure rather than replace the current infrastructure. Guys, I am going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.